Hello, my name is Dhonnagáin. I'm a writer from Ireland. I live in Connemara, the west of Ireland, which is an Irish-speaking region, and Irish is the language in which I work and write. And I want to tell you about my novel Madame Lazares, which has recently been published in a German edition by Klang der Wellen, translated by Elvira Veselinovic. And Madame Lazares is the story essentially of two characters. The first, Madame Lazares, when we meet her, she's an elderly Jewish lady living in Paris. She's lived there quietly all her life. She arrived in Paris having fled her native Estonia as the Nazi invasion was beginning. She made her way to London. She met the man who was to become her future husband, Samuel Lazare, and after the war they settled down in Paris. The other principal character is her granddaughter Levana, who, when her own mother dies, comes to live with the old couple. So Levana is a very inquisitive child. She has loads of questions about her grandparents' background and childhood. And while her grandfather Samuel is very open about his own childhood in Alsace, Madame Lazares, Hana Lazare, has nothing to say about her childhood in Estonia. She claims to not remember her native language. She has nothing to say about her family of origin. So Levana learns that this background is a closed door. But then, towards the end of her life, now based in Brussels, where Madame Lazares is living in an old people's home, the old lady succumbs to dementia. And as she does, she begins to utter words that Levana doesn't understand, presuming, of course, that these fragments of language are Estonian. She enlists the help of an Estonian translator working with the European Commission, who tells her that she has done research and found out that the language that Madame Lazares is actually speaking on the recording that Levana gave her is in fact Irish. So then the story leads, as it's a non-linear narrative, back in time to the Aran Islands, where the woman that was to become Madame Lazares was born. We meet her as a young child. We meet her in the house of a storyteller, where memory is vital and memory is central to the cultural life in which she grows up. Also, in contrast to her life as a Jewish person in Paris, her own spiritual surroundings in the Aran Islands is very much Catholic, and it's a folkloric kind of Catholicism in which she has been raised and which she loves. So the story is about how such a person with such a particular background could become a completely different person with a completely different story and a completely different identity. And the story is indeed about identity. It's about language, it's about memory, it's about oral culture, and it's about a lot of things I'm interested in. I hope you like the book, and I hope that maybe we get to talk about it someday. So thank you very much for listening to me and to hearing a little about my novel, Madame Lazares.